Imagine that your home, that place that should be your refuge, is actually blocking your abundance, your health, and your happiness. What many people don't realize is that not everything in decoration is innocent. Certain objects and arrangements can attract bad luck, illness, and even poverty. Today, I'm going to reveal the 9 forbidden decorations that you should never place in your home, because what you choose to put in your environment speaks directly to your energy, your prosperity, and your well being. Get ready, Rings, because after learning these truths, your home will never be the same, and your life could start changing the moment you harmonize it. Feng Shui is not a superstition, as many believe. It's an ancient art that studies how energy flows in spaces and how it directly influences the lives of those who inhabit them. For centuries, it has guided entire families in China, Japan, and other parts of Asia to live in harmony with the universe and open the doors to prosperity. Think of your home as a living organism. The walls are like its skin, the windows like its eyes, and every object you place inside is like a cell sending messages to the rest of the body. When everything flows in balance, you feel calm, mentally clear, healthy, and abundant. But when something disrupts that balance, even a small detail like a painting, a mirror, or a simple decoration, the vital flow is interrupted. That's when you start noticing signs. Fatigue that won't go away no matter how much you rest, unexpected expenses, tense communication with your family, or that feeling that luck just isn't on your side. And the curious thing is, many times we don't even suspect that all of this comes from something as ordinary as the decoration of our home. In Feng Shui, every object acts like an antenna that transmits or blocks energy. If you choose wisely, your house becomes a magnet for opportunities, health, and prosperity. But if you choose poorly, even unintentionally, you are planting seeds of stagnation and bad luck at the very heart of your home. The most surprising thing is that just one poorly placed object is enough to weaken your well being and close the doors to abundance. And that's where most people go wrong. They believe that one small detail doesn't make a difference, and this is not just theory. I recently learned about a woman who experienced it firsthand, and what happened to her will surprise you. Gracia had been feeling exhausted for months. No matter how much she rested, she always woke up with the same sense of fatigue. At home, arguments had become frequent, small misunderstandings that ended in long silences, and to make matters worse, money seemed to slip through her fingers. Unexpected bills, medical expenses, and it became increasingly hard for her to stay calm. One morning, while preparing breakfast and turning on the radio as she did every day, something caught her attention. A feng shui master was giving an interview about home energy. His words seemed directed at her. He explained that sometimes a small object, which seems harmless, could block a family's prosperity, create conflicts, and even weaken health. Gracia stood still with a cup of coffee in her hand. She felt a shiver as she listened because he was describing exactly what she was experiencing. She couldn't get those words out of her mind all day. Encouraged by the hope of finding a solution, she contacted the master and decided to call him. Patiently, she explained what she had been going through. The master listened in silence and then, with a firm but calm voice, said something she would never forget. Gracia, in your home, there is a very small detail, an object that seems normal, but it is draining your energy every day and closing the doors to your abundance. Intrigued and a little scared, she followed his instructions. And what happened next amazed her. Within days, she began to notice how the tension in her home eased, arguments faded, and for the first time in a long while, she felt calm and hopeful again. With that new calm also came signs of prosperity she hadn't seen in a long time. What happened to Gracia is not an isolated case. In fact, thousands of people experience very similar situations without realizing that the root of the problem is in their own home. The most shocking part is that many times it all starts with a simple decoration that seems beautiful or harmless. But in the language of Feng Shui, it silently sabotages the energy of the home. That's why now I'm going to reveal the 9 forbidden decorations you must avoid at all costs if you want your home to be a space of prosperity, harmony, and opportunity. Let's start with something many people have in their homes without thinking twice. Paintings and pictures that decorate walls may seem like mere adornments at first glance, but in Feng Shui, every image is like an energy window that influences your mood and the atmosphere of your home. Have you ever thought about what happens when those windows show chaos, violence, or sadness? What seems like a simple piece of art may be planting seeds of tension in your daily life when those images are too chaotic. With the violent colors, dark scenes, or heavy compositions, they don't convey beauty. They convey disorder and anxiety. It's as if your home breathes a dense, heavy air that gradually settles inside you as well. Imagine sitting in a living room surrounded by dark, tense paintings. Could you truly relax? The answer is no. That same effect drains your energy day by day, generating unnecessary arguments, emotional blockages, and even mistakes in financial decisions that you later regret. And the most delicate part is that we often don't associate these setbacks with something as simple as the decoration that surrounds us. The good news is that there is a very simple solution. Instead of filling your walls with chaotic scenes, choose images that convey calm and vitality. Landscapes of nature, clear skies, lush trees, or flowing rivers. These elements help energy to flow smoothly, opening the door to tranquility, mental clarity, and, consequently, better decisions that benefit your prosperity and that of your entire family. In some homes, it's also common to find animal skulls, antlers, or even hides used as decoration. At first glance, they may seem like exotic objects or pieces with aesthetic value, but in the language of Feng Shui, they convey something very different. They represent the energy of death and suffering. Have you stopped to consider what it means to live every day with symbols of what is no longer alive? It's as if you bring a constant reminder of loss and pain into your home. Every time you enter a space with this type of decoration, your subconscious receives a message of heaviness, finality, and emptiness. That vibration interrupts the vital flow of the house and ends up reflecting in daily life as fatigue, tension, and even health problems. It's as if your home breathes a stagnant air that gradually consumes you. Imagine having dinner under the fixed gaze of a skull hanging on the wall. Even if you consciously ignore it, your energy feels observed and trapped in an atmosphere of rigidity. Over time, this not only drains the home's harmony, but can also result in constant arguments, dense emotions that block trust, and a silent obstruction of prosperity, where money always seems insufficient. The solution is clear: avoid any decoration made from animal remains and replace it with symbols of life. You can choose lush green plants, fresh flowers, or figures representing movement and growth. In this way, you transform a heavy environment into a space where vital energy flows freely and opportunities for well being and wealth multiply. After discussing objects that transmit darkness and even the energy of death, let's move on to something that seems much more harmless: empty vases. Did you know that in Feng Shui, an empty container is never just a decoration? It represents lack, absence, and what is missing. It's like having a dry well in the middle of your home. You look at it and know it gives no life, that nothing flows from it. An empty vase, without flowers, without water, without anything inside, is like an unfulfilled promise. At first glance, it may seem elegant, but in reality, it is a constant reminder of what you don't have, of what doesn't arrive. Imagine entering a room every day where the first thing you see is a large, empty vase. Even if you don't notice it consciously, your mind registers it as absence, as a lack of fullness. That feeling accumulates until one day you feel that your life is also filled with empty spaces. Over time, this symbolism can manifest in your daily life: money that never stretches far enough, relationships that cool off, projects that seem to stall before bearing fruit. The solution is simple but powerful. If you want to have a vase at home, never leave it empty. Fill it with fresh water and natural flowers, green branches, or even coins to attract wealth. The important thing is that it contains something representing life and abundance, so that instead of projecting lack, it becomes a channel of vital energy and prosperity. So far, we've seen decorations that transmit emptiness or even the energy of death, but there are others that, although they symbolize movement and prosperity in some areas of the house, are very negative in the bedroom. I'm referring to fish tanks and water fountains. Have you ever tried sleeping near a dripping faucet or the constant sound of moving water? At first, it seems relaxing, but over time, your mind doesn't truly rest because water activates a continuous vibration. In Feng Shui, water represents abundance and the circulation of energy, but it also symbolizes instability when placed too close to where we rest. Sleeping near a fountain or fish tank is like spending the night on the edge of a river. Your body never reaches deep calm because the energy is on alert. Over time, this influence translates into insomnia, nervousness, anxiety, and even financial losses because money slips away in the same way water flows. The most concerning part is that, without realizing it, many people end up feeling that nothing in their lives is stable, as if everything good slips through their hands, unable to hold on. The recommendation is clear. Place fountains or fish tanks in social spaces such as the living room or dining room, where their movement attracts vitality and prosperity, but avoid having them in the bedroom. There, what you need is calm, stillness, and stability, not a ceaseless current that disturbs your personal energy and your path to abundance. And speaking of objects that disturb calm, there is one that produces an even more unsettling effect. Have you ever felt uncomfortable entering a room with an old doll or a figure with a strange gaze? Although they may seem like simple decorations, many times they carry surprisingly intense energy. In Feng Shui, objects with a human form have special symbolism because they represent the energy of life. But when that figure projects fear, rigidity, or a disturbing gesture, what you're inviting into your home is not harmony, but dense vibrations that directly affect your mood. It's as if you have an unwanted presence inhabiting your own home. Imagine entering a room and feeling that porcelain eyes are following you from the shelf. Even if you consciously ignore it, your subconscious remains alert, generating nervousness, distrust, and a sense of vulnerability. Over time, that influence can turn into arguments, tense environments, and even financial blockages, because fear is one of the forces that most paralyzes prosperity and halts growth. The solution is very simple. If you have dolls or figurines that make you feel uncomfortable, do not keep them in your home. You can gift them, sell them, or store them out of sight. The important thing is to surround yourself with objects that convey peace, joy, and vitality so that the energy around you is always favorable to your well-being, prosperity, and tranquility. Before continuing, I want you to write in the comments the affirmation, "Abundance enters my home." This will reinforce your intention to open the doors to prosperity. And if you're enjoying this video, give it a like, because that helps me continue sharing more teachings like this. That said, get ready, because what comes next is one of the most common decorations, and I'm sure it will surprise you. After talking about objects that can generate discomfort or even fear, it's time to focus on something that seems beautiful at first glance, but in Feng Shui symbolizes the opposite: artificial flowers. These flowers don't grow, don't breathe, and don't transform. Although they may look pretty and colorful, their energy is static, lifeless. By having no life, they transmit the vibration of falseness, of something that appears abundant but is actually empty. Imagine welcoming someone into your home and offering them a bouquet of plastic flowers. That first impression might seem pleasant, but soon it becomes obvious that they have no fragrance, freshness, or vitality. The same happens with the energy of your home. At first glance, it may seem cheerful, but deep down, it generates stagnation and a sense of falseness. Over time, this vibration can be reflected in relationships losing authenticity, in dreams that fail to materialize, and in opportunities that fade before they become real. The recommendation is clear. If you want flowers in your home, always choose fresh flowers, even a small bouquet. And if that isn't possible, prefer lush green plants that breathe and generate life. In this way, your home will fill with authentic energy and open the path for abundance to also be real and lasting. After talking about artificial flowers that appear alive but are not, let's move on to another type of plant that is alive but whose energy is not always positive indoors: cacti and thorny plants. In Feng Shui, thorns represent defense, tension, and aggression. When we place them inside the home, that vibration translates into arguments, misunderstandings, and a constant sense of discomfort, as if there were always something pricking you in daily life. It's like living with a wall of thorns. Instead of protecting you, they keep you on alert and defensive. Imagine passing by a spiky cactus every day in the living room or your bedroom. Even if you don't consciously notice it, your body and mind remain on guard, ready for conflict. Have you ever wondered why, even in your own home, you sometimes feel tension without reason? Often it's these small, invisible details that create that heavy atmosphere. Over time, That defensive energy can affect family relationships, cool communication with your partner, and even block new economic opportunities, as if each thorn were a small obstacle on your path to prosperity. The solution is simple. Place this type of plant only outdoors, where they act as protective barriers. For the interior of your home, choose rounded, green, abundant leaf plants that soften energy and attract harmony and prosperity. If thorny plants project tension and arguments, there is another object that literally reflects the home's energy. And when it's damaged, it multiplies that negativity, broken or cracked mirrors. In Feng Shui, mirrors symbolize clarity, self esteem, and how energy circulates in a space. But when they break or crack, that reflection becomes distorted, projecting fragmentation, confusion, and bad luck. It's as if the energy shatters into pieces and can never flow fully. Imagine looking at yourself every morning in a mirror with a crack running through your reflection. Even if you try to ignore it, your subconscious receives a message of division, fracture, as if your life were broken into small pieces that don't quite fit together. Have you ever felt like this? As if you couldn't gather all your strength to move forward? That is exactly the effect a damaged mirror projects inside the home. Over time, this energy translates into constant arguments, wrong decisions, and blockages that seem inexplicable. It can even reflect in your finances, fragmented projects, scattered income, and opportunities that never fully materialize. The solution is very clear. Never keep a broken or cracked mirror. The best thing is to remove it immediately and replace it with a new, complete mirror that reflects harmony, wholeness, and abundance. A healthy mirror reflects a complete image, and with it comes the confidence to attract what you truly deserve. And to close this list, let's talk about an object that almost everyone has seen in a home and seems harmless, but in Feng Shui is a very delicate symbol: stopped clocks. A clock represents the passage of time, the movement of life, and the continuity of cycles. When a clock stops and remains that way, it conveys the idea that everything has come to a standstill. It's as if the natural flow of energy is blocked, preventing new opportunities from entering your life. Imagine entering a room where the only clock on the wall always shows the same time. Even if you don't consciously think about it, your mind registers it as a message of stagnation, as if nothing is moving forward. Have you ever felt stuck in a stage of your life without being able to make things change? That is exactly the effect a stopped clock projects in the home. Over time, this symbolism can be reflected in projects that don't prosper, stalled businesses, relationships that don't evolve, and a sense that the future never arrives. Even financially, a stopped clock can attract delayed payments, contracts that never materialize, and opportunities that always seem postponed. The recommendation is clear: if you have a stopped clock, change its battery or repair it as soon as possible. And if it no longer works, remove it. A working clock symbolizes vitality, continuity, and growth, essential elements to keep abundance flowing in your home and for your life to progress with the natural rhythm of the universe. As you can see, these 9 decorations that seem so common can be draining your energy, prosperity, and even the harmony of your home without you noticing. And the most striking thing is that many of them may have been there for years, right in front of your eyes, without you ever imagining the effect they were having on your life. Remember, your home is a reflection of your inner self, and every object influences how your destiny flows. Now tell me in the comments, did you have any of these decorations in your home? I'll read your responses carefully because sharing is the first step to awareness and opening the door to change. Also, your comment might help others identify which objects are blocking the energy in their homes. And don't worry if you discovered that some of these objects were present in your home, because now comes the most important part. I'm going to teach you a simple yet powerful ritual to clear any trace of negative energy and reactivate the flow of abundance in your life. Stay with me, because this ritual will not only make a difference, it will also open the space for new and prosperous energy to enter your life. The first thing you will do is prepare a container with warm water and add a pinch of salt. Salt is one of the oldest and most effective elements for purifying and neutralizing heavy energies. Start at the entrance of your home. Dip a clean cloth in the salt water and gently wipe the doorframe and handles. This symbolizes that you are opening the doors to new opportunities and closing the way to any negative energy trying to enter. Next, go through your home, wiping the cloth over the main corners of each room. You don't need to cover the entire wall, just the corners, because that's where energy usually stagnates. While doing this, repeat mentally or quietly, I cleanse and release my home. Abundance flows to me. Once you've finished, light an incense stick, or if you prefer, a white candle. The smoke or light will represent transformation. Dense energy dissolves and turns into clarity, peace, and prosperity. Finally, open a window or door for a few minutes so fresh air circulates, allowing the renewed energy to settle in your home. With this simple ritual, you will have cleared your space of blockages and prepared it to attract new opportunities, tranquility, and abundance. This ritual alone is very powerful and enough to cleanse your home's energy and reactivate prosperity. But I want to tell you something important. You haven't seen everything yet. There are additional tips that, if applied alongside the ritual, will further amplify the results. They are very simple practices you can incorporate into your daily life to keep positive energy flowing consistently in your home. So pay close attention because what comes next will make a difference. First tip, ventilate your home every morning. Just open the windows for a few minutes to let fresh air in, bringing new energy and removing the old. Second tip, keep the entrance of your home clear at all times. The main door is the mouth of prosperity. If it's blocked with shoes, accumulated items, or furniture, abundance cannot enter freely. Third tip, pay attention to the colors that dominate your home. Prefer light, warm, and bright tones and details like tablecloths, cushions, or decorative accessories. These colors lift your mood, transmit optimism, and help keep energy flowing, creating an environment much more conducive to prosperity. Fourth tip, let natural light into your home whenever possible. Avoid heavy or dark curtains because they block clarity and create a dense atmosphere. Instead, choose light fabrics or bright colors that allow light to flow, filling your home with vitality and positive energy. If you apply these tips along with the ritual, you'll notice your home's energy visibly change, and you'll feel abundance flowing more naturally in your life. Remember, Feng Shui is not just about moving objects or changing decorations. It's a way of living in harmony with the energy around us. Everything you have in your home reflects you, your story, and what you are attracting into your life. So be aware of every object around you. Ask yourself if it truly brings peace, vitality, and prosperity, or if it is blocking the path to your dreams. Never underestimate the power of your environment. Your home is a mirror of your life. When you care for it, filling it with objects that bring joy and meaning, everything on your path begins to align. Small changes in your home can open great doors in your destiny. And the most beautiful part is that you don't need to do everything at once. Start slowly with intention, and every step you take will be a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more abundance, well-being, and harmony in your life. Now, I would love to hear from you. How will you start transforming your home after what you've learned today? To seal your commitment to this new energy, write in the comments the affirmation, "My home reflects abundance and harmony." This will not only reinforce your intention, but also inspire others to take the same step. If this video has inspired you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next rituals and tips, and share it with someone you want to help, because a small gesture like this can change their life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me until the end. I send you a big hug, and may abundance always flow on your path. See you in the next video. See you soon.